昭和20年9月21日夜、僕は死んだ。
In 1942, Japan lured the U.S. into the largest war that the world has ever seen. Japan didn't quite know what would entail for them in the following years. The U.S., in efforts to weaken the military and the general population's morale, carried out a series of air raids on soldiers and citizens alike. While their main goal was to affect Japan's military, as the war went on, accuracy and decency went out the window. An insurmountable amount of napalm bombs were dropped over the Japan over the course of World War II.
There were many notable air raids that took place during the war. One that everyone seems to remember is the Operation Meeting House. Air raids that fell upon Tokyo, the capital of Japan. Towards the end of the war in 1945, March 9th to the 10th, these bombs caused massive fires, burning down houses across Japan, causing excessive damages among many homes and separating families and their kids. Death tolls estimated upwards of 80,000 people. This night was marked the Night of the Black Snow. While the bombing are tragic for these families and their children, I want to bring attention to the aftermath that followed many of these bombings. Millions were left homeless after these air raids. Many left orphaned, widowed, or separated from their families. These bombings left people in a bunker mentality. They never knew when air raids were going to happen, but they felt the looming pressure of them every moment they were awake. This was an experience not forgotten by the Japanese people. A film that captures this perfectly is a 1988 film Grave of the Fireflies, a movie that follows the two siblings orphaned by the bombing of their hometown Kobe. This movie depicts the two siblings managing but struggling to survive and make ends meet. The beginning of these two goes to embody and highlight how the aftermath of the war left vulnerable families abandoned and nowhere to call home. Seeing the destruction and the pain that these bombs really cause, it created a terrifying atmosphere that the children have to live with every time they wake up. This movie captures how the effects explain how it changes people's daily behaviors and makes them adapt to the changes in their diet, lifestyle after Kobe was subjected to firebombing by the United States, destroying their living industries.
The siblings are forced to face a massive change in their lifestyle, living with their aunt who is displeased with their attitudes and feels that they are a burden to their life. The siblings must navigate a world with no guidance where food and safety isn't guaranteed anymore.
Setsuko's suffering is suppressing the scene, emphasizing the innocence of her youth and dependence on her older brother. Releasing fireflies in the darkness, we were able to capture a vivid imagery of these fireflies that we're seeing signifies a sign of hope during times of despair during the war. The beauty of these fireflies allows them to appreciate the moments they have together, and as well the temporary joy they had together, appreciating such a memorable moment with her older brother. In a way, we are able to see how ordinary citizens during the times of firebombing are able to hold on to these little moments with their loved ones during times of constant fear and the looming pressure of the unexpected. The following scene shows some of them. The next morning images a burial of the fireflies, symbolizing the realization of how the war destroys the children's innocence at such a young age. It really conveys such sympathy for the orphans of the war who go through such a traumatic change at a young age.
Families across Japan are forced to go through a state of poverty within their standard of living, dealing with rations leading to concerns with malnutrition among children, emphasizing the deepening impact of war on ordinary but vulnerable families. The two siblings go through a negative progression in their diet as time passes in this movie, even going as far as eating inedible objects when starved so much. Each step downward in their food reflects the depression and hardship during times of this war. and how fast life can change in such a short amount of
これ
time.
はじきや
Their
ろ
lack of food security foreshadows the short time these kids have left to
今日は
live.
兄ちゃんもっと
It's
ええの
crazy
持って
how
きたんや
rice can be such a luxury in time like these. This impossible burden is placed on Setsuko, and while he desperately tries to protect his little sister, the world just won't let him. When he finally catches a break and finds some food for them, it's too little, too late. While this movie doesn't tell a particular story of true events, that doesn't mean it didn't happen to real people. While fiction, this movie tells a very real story about a very real war with very real consequences.
Grave of the Fireflies captures such a significant era for the Japanese generation who lived through the times of the war and those born after. To this day, we can see the effects of World War II on Japan, from the generations ended to the radiation absorbed by tens of thousands. The film, Grave of the Fireflies, reveals such an uncomfortable look into Japan's past. The film depicts the true sorrow of family victims, as well as the reliance of younger siblings on older siblings who are forced to navigate the world after their parents' death. It is a dramatic indicator of how the war affects ordinary families in times of desperation, and how the young and the vulnerable suffer the most since they no longer have somebody to look up or rely on.
節子はそのまま目を覚まさなかった。